So the number one question after UFC 317 is, of course, what is next for the UFC superstar, the Matador, Ilia Topuria, after knocking out beloved Charles Oliveira in round one 2 nights ago at UFC 317. It happened. It happened. It's not the best experience for me because I'm a Charles fan, but it happened, and we all got to move along. The world keeps spinning. But yeah, Ilya just collected his third Infinity Stone in his Infinity Gauntlet, and he's looking for more. Ilya, as we all know, has been hunting down Islam Makhachev, and I think a lot of people have become comfortable with saying that Ilya beats Islam now. So much so that I believe that the general opinion amongst MMA fans all around the world is that Ilya beats Islam. And I want to say first and foremost, as loud as I can, Islam Makhachev is not Charles Oliveira. And that should have been incredibly blatant when Islam did what he did to Charles in the title fight where they fought. He made relatively quick work. Okay, it wasn't crazy quick, but Islam did destroy Charles in his fight with Charles as well. So I want to state first and foremost, as clearly as possible, Islam Makhachev is not Charles Oliveira. He is different. He is absolutely 100% different. It's like when Ilya was getting ready to fight Volk, and he said that he is not Yair Rodriguez. Okay? I think a lot of people are now getting way too comfortable with the idea that Ilya is gonna make quick work of Islam. That is not the case at all. Islam Makhachev is better than Charles everywhere. I firmly do believe that. And I'm a Charles fan. I'm a Charles fan more than I'm an Islam fan. But again, with this channel, I want to come at you guys objectively. And, you know, the way I see it, objectively speaking, Islam Makhachev is better than Charles everywhere. So Islam is not Charles. Islam is going to give Ilya a tougher fight than Charles. And like I said before, I believe Islam Makhachev beats Ilia Topuria. And there's another video I want to make about another guy that just came to mind that beats Ilya as well. But I'll save that for my next video because I want to talk about Ilya for my next few videos. So for this video, again, we're going to stay on the topic of Ilya and Islam because, again, the number one question right now is, who is Ilya going to fight next? He's on this huge streak. He's knocking out all-time great after all-time great. Just finished wiping the floor with Charles Oliveira. And people are having questions about whether or not he's going to move up and finally get what he wants, which is a fight against Islam Makhachev. First and foremost, no, he's not going to do that. Islam is going to stay at welterweight. Ilya will have to stay at lightweight. He's not going to move from lightweight. He can't. The UFC will not allow Ilya to do that again, to move weight classes after just getting the title. Ilya will need to defend his title once or twice before the UFC will finally go, okay, now you can chase after Islam. Or now you can continue your chase after Islam. Ilya's likely going to fight Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje is the most viable option. I said Paddy before. I think Paddy is also a viable option. I just feel like the UFC, you know, even though they promoted Paddy versus Ilya because Paddy got to get in the cage with Ilya and face off after Ilya beat Charles, I still think the UFC is going to go with Gaethje. I think they're gonna hit a hard right, and they're gonna bring Justin Gaethje out to fight Ilya, and Ilya is gonna make quick work of Gaethje. First round finish, just like Charles. Gaethje has nothing to offer Ilya. I'll say that as well. And I like Justin Gaethje. I don't hate him. I just firmly believe Justin Gaethje has nothing to offer Ilia Topuria. Ilya will wipe the floor with him as well, just as quick as he did with Charles. And any other lightweight too. Any other lightweight too, except one. And I'll bring him up in my next video. But again, staying on the topic of Ilya versus Islam, I want to use this video to mainly say Islam Makhachev is not Charles Oliveira. A lot of people are saying that Islam is running. I know it looks that way Hear me out. I know it looks that way. I know it looks like Islam is running from Ilya. And I could be wrong. Maybe he is. But I believe Islam firmly wants to be double champ. He wants to get double champ status. And he wants to get it right away. Because he personally feels like a lot of people are holding him back at lightweight. And I agree. Islam has been dominating the lightweight division for a long time now. It is about time he gets a shot at a different division. So this is deserved. I think Islam's move and immediate challenging of the welterweight champ right now, JDM, is deserved. Islam has paid his dues at lightweight. And I think we will get Ilya versus Islam. It may not be soon, but we'll get it. And I think it will be a fight that tops Conor McGregor versus Khabib. And I think it's simply because of how legendary these two fighters have been and how dominant these two fighters have been. So it's like an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. Ilya and Islam, or Islam and Ilya. That's how it's going to be. But yeah, I have Islam beating Ilya. I think when this fight finally happens, which is probably going to be late 2026, early 2027, when this fight finally happens, I'm going to side with Islam. Even if Islam loses to JDM, I'm going to side with Islam. I don't even think he will. I think Islam will dominate JDM. But still, the tools that Islam has in his chest in terms of fighting skill and strategy, I think those beat Ilya's tools. And it's simply because of the natural components, the most natural of them being height. Islam isn't incredibly taller than Ilya, but he's got a good amount of height compared to Ilya. And those head kicks will be there. The openings for head kicks will be there. And like I said again, and I'll say it again, Ilya's weakness, the kryptonite, the blueprint, the key to beating Ilia Topuria is to be a rangy kicker, a tall kicker, a tall guy for their division. Doesn't have to be 6 foot plus, but a tall guy, 5'11", 5'10", for their division, who has good kicking skills. That is Ilya's weakness, and we saw it happen before. I forget the name of the guy that Ilya fought before, but he was tall, and he dang near knocked out Ilia Topuria because he's a tall kicker. He was a tall guy that was able to execute excellent kicks. And Islam Makhachev is capable of doing that, and he proved that against Alexander Volkanovski in their second fight. I expect Islam to do the same to Ilya. I expect Islam to get in these tight exchanges with Ilya, be able to gauge distance, take a step back and throw a head kick that's placed with such precision. And it finally finishes the Matador. I think the Matador Express stops with Islam, but it could also potentially stop with a different fighter that, again, I will mention in my next video. So stay tuned for that. But again, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I want to make this video because, again, I've been hearing too many people say that Ilya beats Islam with ease now because Ilya beat Charles Oliveira, who marches forward all the time and has a tendency to drop his hands in exchanges and get dropped. We all knew this going into the Charles Oliveira fight. Predicting Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria was so easy. You can go back and see that I had Ilya finishing Charles in round 1. It was incredibly easy. Charles Oliveira moves forward. He's a berserker. He doesn't care about gauging distance and fighting off the back foot. He wants to run at you. He was saving Ilya the trouble of hunting him down. He gave Ilya that win. That's all there is to it. I don't mean to disrespect Ilya with that. I may not like Ilya, but I dang well respect him. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway back to back, and Max tried fighting off the back foot. So did Volk. And Ilya hunted both of them down and knocked both of them out. So I have the utmost respect for Ilia Topuria. And with that utmost respect, I believe Charles gave Ilya that win because of his stupid game plan. Overall, you let me know what you think. I love each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. This is Mr. Fight Companion from Glove Knowledge. See y'all in the next.